In the book of Revelations, talk about 1,260 days.
Yeah. Okay. What did you figure out?
Well, I was watching um, a video. I can't remember the guy's name right now, shit. But he was listing the blood moons that occurred. You probably saw a picture of it in one of my videos where I got all these moons going across the thing. It was in today's video. And he had one little blood moon that stood out there by itself, May the 26th, 2021. So I looked it up, and that blood moon actually falls on Pentecost. Nobody's ever said that. But that's actually a blood moon falling on Pentecost, the day of Pentecost 2021. They don't know that because when people put in Pentecost, of course, they get the Catholic day of Pentecost, which is on a Sunday, 50 days after Easter, when it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But then when you look at the actual day of Pentecost, it falls on May 26, 2020. So then I start backtracking to try to figure out, okay, well, I guess I forgot to mention the part how I thought. Oh, well, I started backtracking 1,260 days from that point because I believe that it should have started in 2017. I believe according to Revelation chapter 12, the 1,260 days was supposed to start right after the Revelation 12 sign in the sky. And I had been working on that. I've been working on that for years, since 2017, how you can add how starting on Rosh Hashanah or Sukkot or Yom Kippur and add 1,260 days, where do you end up at? But I wasn't really getting anywhere because it ends up in an odd day that don't mean nothing. Anytime I calculated based on those days, even the 8th day celebration, they never did come out to anything. So I decided to, of course, by the inspiration of our Father, decided to subtract 1,260 days from 526, which is the day of Pentecost 2021. And it ends up on December the 12th, 2017, which of course didn't mean nothing to me at first until the Father brought to my attention Hanukkah is actually the day of Hanukkah. So I went and looked it up. Hanukkah is the dedication ceremony for the Second Temple. It's when they conquered after Antiochus Epiphanes. Yeah, in Maccabees, when he put the pig on the altar, did the abomination of desolation back there in about 126 BC. When they conquered and got the temple back, when they took the temple back, Hanukkah was the celebration. You only really hear about the oil part because of the 8 days of oil that they had. But if you remember the story, that 8 day of started with the conquering of the temple when they took the temple back. So the gist of it is that the 1,260 days started on Hanukkah 2017 and ends on Pentecost of 2021.
What happens again on that 1,000?
Well, when you look at the book of Revelation, let me look it up right quick. Shoot. I'll just go to Revelations 12. I almost got it right there. The 1,290 days. It's Revelations 12 and 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she has a place prepared of God that they may feed her there 1,200 and 60 days. So that's the period in time where the woman goes into the wilderness. She gives birth on Rosh Hashanah 2017 with the Revelation 12 sign in the sky. And then from that period of time, and I guess it'll be real interesting to know how many days it is between Rosh Hashanah and December the 12th, because December the 12th during Hanukkah, or to be right there at the beginning of Hanukkah or whatever, is when the 1,260 days start that last until Pentecost 2021. And then there's actually an eclipse on that day to verify it, like a stamp of approval. Like a thing is, it's all about the oil, I guess. One thing about that day, and the temple and the oil, which could point to the beginning of like a marriage supper that you read about over with the 10 virgins, the 5 wise virgins and the 5 unwise virgins, and the oil, because you ought to also think that that marriage supper started in 2017. So I've been working on a kind of a chart, I've been trying to figure out all day the 1,260 days, well, half of the day. Basically, the days of Revelation, I've been trying to figure out the 42 months. Turns out there are actually 2 42-month periods in the book of Revelation. One started back there in 2014 that you read about in Revelation chapter 11. That started with the 4 blood moons, which would take us back to the time when we got, when we started the transition from corporate America to where we're at. That was the spring of 2014. Remember that? And so that would have started the 42 months where the guy was measuring the temple. Let's see if I can find that over there. Revelation verse 1. What is that? Revelation chapter 11 verse 1 says, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein." So that's also pointing to the temple. Well, I got that thing in there where it's showing up kind of weird. Oh, that's why. Trying to make this thing go away so I can see the first 2. Okay, I had to put the off button. But then verse 2 says, "But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot for 42 months." So the Gentiles are outside of the temple from 2014 until the Revelations 12 sign in the sky in 2017. And so with that, I guess you can deduce that the Gentiles start to come in to the temple in 2017. But anyway, that's 42 months. And then after those 42 months, it says down in verse 3, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days. And so that 1,260 days started on December or Hanukkah of 2020 of 2017. And of course, the story starts repeating itself. It says the same thing over there in Revelation chapter 12, but it's also talking about the 1,260 days. And so he gives his 2 witnesses the power during Hanukkah of 2017, but they're also led out into the wilderness in 2017, along with the rest of the 144,000 that you read about. So after that 1,260 days, then you get over into chapter 13, and you start to hear about another 42-month period, but this time it has something to do with the mark of the beast, and who a lot of people will call the Antichrist or the lawless one. You see the mark of the beast down here in Revelation chapter 18. Here's wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Up in verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. He's deceiving everybody that dwelleth on the earth. I thought it gave a time frame in there. Yeah, there it is, up in verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So there is another 42-month period there. So you have 42 months that started in 2014. The 1,260 days started in 2017. And then from there you have another 42-month period that should start somewhere around 5/26/2021. You could very well see the Antichrist, that, like I said, that is really called the lawless one, show up. But that's actually consistent with the book called The Apocalypse of Elijah, who says that the lawless one appears in the 4th year of the lawless king, of the willful king. You have a king. It's described as a willful king. He's kind of a bad dude that harms the people that keep the commandments. But in the 4th year of his kingship, he gives power to the lawless one. The lawless one comes on the scene. So if the lawless king, if the willful king is our current president, Donald Trump, then we can fully expect this lawless one to appear right after 5/26/2021. It's all coming together like a puzzle. But I've been working on this for a while, all day. What I started doing was actually put it down and started praying. Just start praying for people and stuff like that, try to gain some merits. And then That was after I took a nap. And since then, stuff's been working out, but I ain't finished yet. Still got a ways to go, and I'll probably do a class on it tomorrow. Should be a pretty interesting class.
Interesting comments.
Oh yeah, we'll get some comments on that. Leave comments.